Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf, Nedarim Mem Gimel. We are holding out the Mishnah on Mem Beis and Mem Beis, 3 lines from the bottom of the Yamid. Says the Mishnah, Hamudar hanoah mechaveroi. If a fellow may not have hanoah from his friend, he has distanced himself from his friend because of a neder. What happens now? Lo yashi lenu v'lo yishal mimenu. He should not loan this fellow any items for personal use, nor should he borrow from him. The question is, why can't he borrow? He can't loan him something because that fellow can't have hanoah. But why can't he go ahead and borrow from that fellow? The Gemara will discuss this. Likewise, when it comes to lending something like money, lo yalvenu v'lo yilveh mimenu. He shouldn't lend him, nor should he borrow from him. V'lo yimkar lo v'lo yikach mimenu, nor should he sell or buy anything from this fellow. Asks the Gemara, what's going on? Bishlam lo yalvenu, I understand why he can't lend him. Because he's benefiting him. Ela lo yilveh mimenu, but what's wrong with borrowing from this fellow? In which way is he benefiting him? Ubishlam lo yilveh mimenu. Now, we can understand perhaps why he shouldn't borrow from him, or buy from him, because at times it can actually develop into some sort of hanoah that he's having from him. Suppose he will borrow, old, rubbed out, worn out coins, give him back fresher coins, and likewise when it comes to buying and selling, he might actually give the fellow a good deal by buying this thing from him. So there could be a possibility of hanoah. We can understand how it can be problematic. So that's when it comes to borrowing something like money or dealing with him in commerce. When it comes to loaning an item from him, borrowing his ox, in which way is that fellow going to have hanoah from me if I borrow his ox? So what's wrong? Amar Beis B'Chanina, you're right. Typically it's not an issue, but here it's Kigoin Shenadru Hanoah Zamizeh. Reuven and Shimon both made a two-way neder against each other. So that explains the Mishnah. So therefore no interaction between them is mutter, loaning, lending, or dealing in business. Abaye Omar, no, actually it was a one-way neder. Question, why can't I borrow from that fellow if I'm not benefiting him? It's a gzera d'Rabbanon. Lish oil mishum lahashil. If I borrow, I might actually loan him, in which case I'm benefiting him, which he's not allowed to do. B'chein bekulu, and likewise the other items in the Mishnah, we disallow it both ways, gzera, because it's a concern of confusion. Says the Mishnah, Amar le yashileni parascha. Shimon approaches Reuven, could you lend me your cow? I need to work on my field tomorrow. Amar lo, he says, sorry, ina pniya, it's unavailable. Shimon gets all mad. Amar, he says, koinam sadi shani chodesh bala olam. I'm making usr by way of neder, any plowing with this cow forever. So I'm not going to plow with this cow forever. Question, can somebody else use that cow to plow his field? Well, it depends. Depends what his practice would be. If Shimon himself, personally, the owner himself, would be the one plowing his field, then the neder applies to him only. Hu asr, he may not plow any longer with Reuven's cow. But other people can. They were not included in the neder. But if it's actually not the owner that does the plowing, typically, rather he hires others. So in this case, his neder addresses that as well. Hu b'chol adam asurin, nobody can plow his field, Shimon's field, with Reuven's cow. Hamudar no mechaver. So a fellow cannot have enough from his friend. And unfortunately, he has nothing to eat. Poor man. Reuven feels bad for him, and he wants to benefit him. What could he do? So Reuven could approach his local friendly grocer, Va'imran tells him, look, we have a problem. Ish plaini noidim many ano. This fellow over there, Shimon, he made a neder not to have benefit from me, and I'm stuck. What should I do to help him? The grocer gets the message, and offers this fellow Shimon what he needs. And goes back to Ruvain for payment, as long as he doesn't actually specify and designate the grocer as a shaliach. It was just by way of hint. It's mutter to do it in this way. Not only when it comes to basic sustenance, like mezainis, like food, says the Ran. This fellow Shimon, who may not benefit from Ruvain, has all kinds of maintenance issues. He has to build a house, he has to fix up his gather, he has to reap his grain off his field, and he's unable to do so with his own resources. And Ruvain, his friendly neighbor, would like to help him. Problem is, Shimon can't benefit from Ruvain. Here as well, he can make this type of pseudo arrangement. So Ruvain walks over to some laborers and hints to them as follows: Shimon cannot benefit from me. I'm stuck. I want to help him, but I'm stuck. What should I do? They get the message. They go and they work on behalf of Shimon. They complete these tasks. They build his house, fix his fence, etc. And in terms of payment, and they go back to Reuven for payment. Suppose Reuven and Shimon are walking along the road, and Reuven sees that Shimon, who is a mudar hana from Reuven, has nothing to eat. He ran out of supplies. How could he help him? Reuven can take some food, give it to a stranger, Levi, as a gift, and now Levi can turn around and give it to Shimon. As long as Reuven didn't instruct Levi to do so, he did it by his own volition, that's okay. That's if we have a stranger here. There's nobody else with them, just Reuven and Shimon. What can they do? The Aaron says, Maniach ala sela. Reuven takes some food, places it on the rock. Oyal gather all the friends. V'omer declares, Hariyan mifkarim l'kol mishiyachvitz. I am rendering these items, this food, as ownerless, as hefker, for whomever wishes to take it. So it's a legitimate hefker, and that allows Shimon to go take it. Because he's not taking it directly from Reuven. And Farshim say, why did he have to place it on a stone or on a gather? Perhaps because it needs to be out of Shimon's area. It has to be beyond 4 amis from Shimon. This way, when Reuven is mafkir, it doesn't go directly into Shimon's possession. It becomes its own thing, its own domain, its own hefker jurisdiction. Then Shimon can approach it and take it. So he never actually took it directly from Reuven. That is Shitas Tanakam. Hefker is allowed. Rabbi Yissi says it's not allowed. Why wouldn't it be allowed? Reuven isn't actually gifting Shimon anything. He's making an hefker. Now it's totally impersonal. Shimon is taking it from the hefker rishus. Their answer is kasavar hefker kamatona. Rabbi Yissi considers hefker like a form of a gift. What does that mean? When you make something hefker, it's more like a personal commitment. I'm allowing people to take it, but I'm still holding on to it. It's still in my possession until that recipient comes and grabs it. Mamatona, just like a gift. It's from me to you. It's a direct transfer of possession. Ada asya mishus noisen, until it comes from the giver, l'rishus makabel, to the receiver, it's not completed. Right? So when I give something as a matana, I can change my mind until you get it, because it's not done until you receive that item. Av hefker, the same with hefker. According to Rabbi Yossi, hefker isn't like a no man's land. It's more like it's a transfer. It's a commitment. I'm allowing somebody to take that thing. And therefore, the transmission is not complete until he takes it. And once he takes it, it is as though he has gotten it from me. And the problem is, if he's a mudar hana, he can't take anything from me. Av hefker ad asil l'shus zoich. Masir Rav Abba. Rabbi has a kasha. You're telling me that according to Rabbi Yossi, the hefker only works in this manner. We have a brisa which says like this: 2 people walking along, there's nobody else there. Reuven makes it hefker, and Shimon takes it. That's Tanakama, because according to Tanakama, hefker is like a no man's land. It's ownerless, which allows Shimon to pick it up from no man's land. That's Tanakama. He says you can't do it. And Rabbi Yossi explains himself. And that gives us a window into his perspective. Amar Rabbi Yossi, Masai, when is this not allowed? Bezman shenidrei, when the neder, the mudar hana, was done before koydem lefker, before he made it hefker. Right? So he made this neder, and then he's walking along the road, and then he has the hefker attempt, which doesn't work. But if he made this item hefker, okay, Reuben makes this loaf of bread hefker, and then the neder came about, koydem lenidrei, harei mutar. Even Rabbi Yossi would allow it in this case. So the problem is only when there was a neder before he made it hefker. But if he made it hefker, that's number one. And then Shimon turns around and says, you know what, I don't want to benefit from you. Even Rabbi Yossi would agree he could pick up that hefker loaf. That's the price. Now, according to the way you, Rabbi Yechon, explained Rabbi Yossi, this price wouldn't really be understandable. The Amris, well, according to your proposal, that the issue with Rabbi Yossi is, the issue with hefker is, the hefker is only complete, the process is only completed when it gets to the zeicha. Until then, it's the owner's possession, until the zeicha actually gets it. So what's the difference? What came first, what came second? Either way, he's getting it from Reuven. Mali nidre kedem lefker. What's the difference if the neder was before you made it hefker? In which case you say that Shimon can't take it because he's getting it directly from Reuven. Mali hefker kedem nidre. Or if the hefker came first and then the neder. Either way, Shimon right now can't take it from Reuven. And this hefker item is sort of in limbo. It's somewhere in between. And when he picks it up, he's getting it from Reuven. So how could Rabbi Yechon explain that the reason according to Rabbi Yossi, Shimon the mudar can't accept a hefker from Reuven is because he's getting it from Reuven. It's like a gift. It's like a direct transfer. If that's the reason, then what's the difference? What came first? What came second? Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm a mudar hana and I can't get from you. I can't take this hefker item because that's considered getting directly from you. Who moisiv, who mishanah. The same Amir who asked the kasha answered like this. There is a difference. When I make something hefker, it's sort of out of my mind. I'm a siach das from it. And then when I make a neder against you, or you make a neder against me, kol anoida, when a fellow makes a neder, ein datoy, amasha hefker. His das is not to include something which was already hefker. It's not really his anymore. It's already sort of on the way out. So that explains this halacha. When he makes a neder and then he tries to give it over to him by way of hefker, it doesn't work. But if it's already hefker and then they made the neder, whoever it is, Reuven or Shimon, it's not going to include, it's not going to address something which is already halfway out. It's no longer personal. It's not his personal item. It's already hefker. Mosav Rava. Rava had a kasha on Rabbi Yechon's pshat. Meaning you're telling me that the neder would not include something which was already committed through hefker. Have a kasha on that. And the Ran is gerus like this. Miktzos on the Rishon, v'kul l'sheni. Zacha. L'ishtabed b'rishon. That's how the Ran is gerus. 4 lines from the top of the Amud. Miktzos on the Rishon means like this. He had 2 avodim. A fellow had 2 slaves. And he says, look, he has 2 slaves. Let's call them Reuven and Shimon. Miktzos on the Rishon. I'm giving part of my properties, part of my assets to Reuven. That doesn't work. Because perhaps the part of what he left out, he left some out. Maybe that was actually Reuven himself. So Reuven remains his eved, so then if he's an eved, he can't acquire any properties. So it's like a catch-22, it can't be kind of anything. So Miktzos on the Rishon. Part of it goes to Reuven. V'kul l'shein, then he says, everything goes to Shimon, the other eved. Sheni zach l'shtabed b'rishon. So Sheni, the second slave, is lucky. He got everything. And in fact, he acquires Reuven as well. It's all his now. All of the owner's possessions, including his slaves, go to Shimon. So what's the kasha? So the Ran explains, if we assume that when a person commits and grants and gives and makes Nedarim, it's not going to include things which he already sort of took out of his, put on the side, put off to the side, something which was already mafkir. That's not included in a neder of today, here as well. Gemara is making sort of a comparison here. Why would you say that he's giving everything to Shimon? He's giving even Reuven to Shimon, when in fact he already gave away Reuven to himself. He already gave at least something to Reuven. Why would you say now all goes to Shimon? Interesting connection, but that's the Gemara's thinking right now. If that's out of the way, that's already been committed to somebody else, why would you say it's included in the second gift? So Rabbi has a problem now understanding our way of thinking, our rationale, that the item which you made hefker is not included in the new neder. Why would you say that? Just like we see by the avodim. We look at the legal value of what you're doing. And if what you gave to Reuben has no value, so now when you turned around and gave everything to Shimon, it includes everything that you offered to Reuben. Despite the fact that you already offered it to Reuben, but it didn't really take hold. It didn't take off. So now it goes all to Shimon. Here as well, when it comes to the hefker and the neder. True, you made it hefker, but hefker is an in-between state. It's not being given to anybody else. You're still sort of holding on to it. It's still partially yours. So now when you make a neder against Shimon, it includes all of your possessions, including the things that you already committed to hefker. Therefore, Rava prefers another way to explain the sugya. You can't explain it like Rabbi Yehuda, says Rava. If the fault with hefker is that it's still considered mine. So now when somebody's a mudar hana from me, he can't take anything. Whether my regular properties, whether my hefker properties, whether the hefker came before the neder, whether the hefker came after the neder. You're getting it from me. So back to the kasha. That's not the reason for Rabbi Yosef's Isser. What is the reason that Rabbi Yosef disagrees with Tanakama that hefker is not a proper method to use by the mudar hana? Elam Rava, he says like this, you know what, technically speaking, min HaTorah, it would work. If you can't have enough from me, because you're my mudar hana, and I make something hefker is its own jurisdiction, its own domain, it's no longer mine. It no longer relates to its previous owner. Now you're free to take it, if it's a proper hefker. Elam Rava, I know time with Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef's reason is as follows: Gezerah, we have a concern that he might not do it properly. Gezerah mishamatnas beis chayron. There's a Gemara later with a story. It happened in beis chayron. There were two people in a fight, and he was trying to get the other person to come to his wedding. So he says, look, I'm giving everything away to another, this third party. This is just so that the other person could come to the wedding, and he's not going to be over in his Isser. So it's clear that it was just a farce. It wasn't a real legitimate gift to the third party. But just to enable the mudar not to come, it doesn't work. So concerned that whenever we get involved in these types of arrangements of hefker and all that, it's concerning because, all he needs to do is say the wrong thing. Say, look, I'm making an hefker for the other person. There you go. It's over. You can't do that. You can't specify that you're motivated, to allow this person to come take it. That doesn't work. You have to make it really, really, really hefker. So therefore, Rabbi Yosef says, don't get involved in these things, because you might not do it properly. In which case it would be asra. So it's Gezerah D'Rabbanan. Okay, what did we learn today? We had a Mishnah where you shouldn't be doing loaning and borrowing and transactions, both ways. So at two pshatim, either because they're both mudar hana from each other, or there's a Gezerah that if you allow it one way, you might do it the other way, which is a problem. I'm keeping away from your para. So if he's the one that does the plowing, he shouldn't be using it anymore. But if the other fellows are doing it, He's accustomed to hiring workers, and nobody can use the para on his field. Okay, we have a nice fellow, a benevolent fellow, is trying to help his mudur hana, who's strapped for basic necessities. He can go to the grocer and have him transfer the items and then come back to him for payment. The same thing with other workers. If they're traveling on the road, he can give it to a third party who will transfer it to him, or make it into a hefker according to Tanakama, but not according to Rabbi Yossi. We have two ways to explain. Either there's a fundamental basic machlekes in the understanding of hefker, or according to the second pshat of Rava, Rabbi Yossi is simply concerned that he might not do it properly, and therefore, for extra precaution, we don't advise you to get involved in hefker at all. May we have much hatzlacha and b'suras tevis.